Well, it is not working. I came into the fuel station, gas station, used to diesels, and it died as I was going to the fuel pump, but I wasn't out of fuel. Had plenty of fuel in it, but it was my time to fuel up. It's not firing at all. There's no even attempt to start. I don't know if you can hear me or not. There's unfortunately people with loud radios around here. I thought when I found this rotor that was burned through in the middle, I don't know if you can see that, I thought for sure that was my problem. So I went and got a new rotor cap and coil, and still no even attempt to fire. Pulled the spark plug wire, put a screwdriver on it, held it here, plenty of spark jumping, like an inch long spark jumping from the spark plug wire to the metal there. So it's definitely getting spark. Is the spark in time? Well, that I don't know. The distributor is tight, but it's always been wobbly. You'll see that in an upcoming video. The carburetor is brand new on it. The fuel shutoff solenoid was sticking. I removed the top of the carburetor. The carburetor is full of fuel. The float is floating. Points and condenser is the only thing I didn't do. They weren't going to be able to get them until the morning. But if I'm getting spark from the spark plug wire, I assume that the points are working. I'm not a gas guy. Tyler's going to come here, and a local guy stopped by who has a VW tow bar he's going to let us borrow, and we can just tow it back to my house. That way we don't have to go all the way down to my house, get the tow bar, and bring it back here. That would be a 6-hour, 5-hour round trip that we don't need to do. So I don't know what else it could be. I mean, it's acting like it's not getting fuel, but it is. And I even poured some gas down the carburetor. No firing. Sprayed some starting fluid in there. Nothing. Yeah, I poured fuel right in there. It didn't do nothing. There's my gas can. I am in Hendersonville, Kentucky, right across the border from Evansville, Indiana. So I don't know what it is. If there's any... I just replaced the coil. Just replaced the cap and rotor. It's just weird that it was running when I came into the gas station, and then now it's not. I checked all my fuses. I don't have a socket big enough to, well, I don't know what size socket it takes for the spark plugs. I have deep well sockets. I tried everything from 14 millimeter all the way up to 19. I think I even tried a 20. I don't have a 21, but I have a 22, and that didn't fit in there. So I don't know what size it takes. So I think we'll just tow it home and figure it out. It's been 5 hours now. I don't think it would still be flooded 5 hours later, right? Maybe. It still has points. I did check the gap on the points. We had just set it 2 days ago. I put about 800 miles on this in the last few days, and it's done great except for that. I took the fuel pump line, I took the line here off, turned it over, and the fuel shot about 8 feet out of that. So it's definitely, the fuel pump is working. Yeah, 21 millimeters is the size I don't have. Tyler will be here though, so we'll pull it off and just check the spark plugs, because I mean, if this thing got cooked, I don't know what else could have been. I don't know if you can see that. I sprayed starting fluid in it and nothing happens. It doesn't even sputter on starting fluid. So do you think it could still be the points or the condenser, even though I'm getting spark to the spark plug wires? And it was like an inch long spark. It was pretty strong. Yes, the rotor turns. We've been having some issues with the distributor that we were discussing on Patreon the last few days because the distributor itself is very wiggly. I don't know if you can see that, if that's coming through or not. But it's a very wiggly distributor, but it doesn't turn left or right. It's definitely locked in its timing position, but it does wiggle. I mean, I don't have a timing light, and the distributor hasn't, you know, it doesn't move side to side, it doesn't twist. I can.
You got problems, bud?
Yeah, it's not working right. My son's gonna come. We're gonna try and tow it home, I think.
Yeah, I used to have Volkswagen.
This fried, and I went and got a new one and thought, well, that'll fix the problem, but I got a new points cap and coil, and it's cooked in the middle right there, if you can see that.
The rotor button.
Yeah.
You said is it firing?
It's not firing at all.
Oh, so you might need to go to the coil.
Could, yeah.
It looked like a new coil.
I just bought it. Yeah, just got that just a few minutes ago too. I thought for sure I was gonna fix it. I gotta pull a spark plug out next is my next thing to do, but I don't have a socket big enough to do it. My son's gonna come here. But thank you for checking on me. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I pulled the top of the carburetor. The float bowl is full. The float is floating. Yeah, the rotor turns. Ugh, it's hard to turn over my hand. But you can see it's moving. Alright, suck at this. Well, oh, I can't lock. Dang it, sorry. I can see the, sorry it's so shaky. Yeah. That's a brand new cap. I definitely put the wires, I did them one at a time on there, so they are in the right spots. That means that I don't know how much slop it's supposed to have. The rotor only goes on one way. There's a huge notch in the rotor shaft. But that seems pretty sloppy. Doesn't always go back to the same spot. So we just put a brand new carburetor on it a couple days ago. The old, you'll see in a video tomorrow, but the old one is worn on the bushings of the throttle shaft. Okay, there's like a gazillion comments here. Turn the ignition on and get a flathead screwdriver and open and close the points. Will it spark when you do that? Shit. Yeah, I hope I didn't blow the fuse on that, although I have some spares. But I don't know what fuse that is. Is that one of the ones in the fuse panel? Or is this a special hidden one? Did I not put the rotor cap back on? No, it's on. I did make sure they were adjusted, and we just adjusted them a couple days ago too. But a credit card, it's like right at the thickness of a credit card. It's a brand new coil. See, there's the one I just took off. Nothing. Not even thinking about firing. Yeah, I've held the throttle to the floor. I've choked it. I had somebody help me and I choked it. I poured fuel down there. I used starting fluid. It's not even thinking about firing. Alright. This is very hard to do holding a phone and with one hand. But you want to see this come around. That's my notch right there, right? Now there's multiple notches. I don't know which one's which. Didn't replace the condenser or the coil. Yeah, Tyler's on his way. Yeah, so how do you know if it's top dead center? I guess you don't. But anyways, if you just joined, I pulled the plug wire off. I stuck this screwdriver to it, held it here, turned the car over, and there's a giant spark jumping between the screwdriver and here. I had it like an inch, probably as far away as it is right now, and that's how far the spark was jumping. So it has plenty of spark from the spark plug wires. I just cut off the solenoid, the inside of that. We just cut it off because it was not working right. Well, I don't know, but when I added power to it, I had it out, I would add power to it and it wouldn't retract, nothing would happen. But if I pushed it halfway in, then it would suck it the rest of the way. So I went ahead and cut the end of it off. After talking to Jason, it wasn't gonna hurt anything. And if that was what the problem was, but it's not. That's not doing anything. Checked the fuel pump. I pulled that fuel line off, turned it over, and the fuel shot out about 8 feet across the parking lot. I took the top of the carburetor off. The float bowl is completely filled and the float is floating. So when Tyler gets here, I'll pull a plug and then I'll know. But it doesn't even smell like gas. If it was flooded, I would think I would smell a heavy gas smell. And I don't smell a heavy gas smell. It's pretty hard to turn over by hand. But it's no different than it was. I can feel compression when I'm turning, and I can feel when it's on the compression stroke. So, I don't know enough about it, but I've been stuck here in this parking lot now for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 hours. Fuel filter's fine. It's a clear one. I can see right through it. I don't have a socket the size to pull off those spark plugs with me. So, alright, well, I appreciate everybody's input, but we're going to get a tow bar here in a little bit and tow it back, and then I'll have time to throw some more parts at it or look into it a little bit more. Close to the notch. Yep, the rotor is spinning. I did not mix up the order on the cap. I replaced them one at a time, so I had never had more than one off at a time. Yeah, we just adjusted the valves yesterday. It was running great. So, I'm not a Volkswagen expert, but it's a fun car to drive. It doesn't have a tach. So, all right, most of the things you guys are saying we've already covered on that. Sorry, but yeah, we've tried everything. So I'm going to let you go. Just want to do a quick live. We are broke down with this thing, and hopefully be back home in a couple hours.